I have to send my cheating ex back to poverty after I caught her cheating with her ex. So I come here for advice because everyone on my family and friend circle thinks I'm overreacting and need to forgive and the usual bullcrap, so I want to know if you guys think the same. Let me get you the context first. I, Paul 33 male, meet my fiancée Andrea 32 female in high school. Both were 15 at the time of, and since then we both stay together. We had our rough patches when I went to study to a nearby city but used to visit her most of the time. But when I finally got my studies done and was able to work at the town, things got better. To this I have to add, Andrea comes from a really poor family. We talking 8 siblings, a house made out of wood and a zinc roof, gotta bless South America standards. So knowing this, I was mostly the provider of our relationship. It didn't bother me. I love to take her out to eat ice cream and see her smile. Same when I take her to car rides on my father car. As time progressed, the things I could afford got better since I study in IT and landed a high-paying job working on the town bank. I was almost set for life, I could say. To this that I got myself a nice place to live that I rent from an old man that my parents knew. We are talking one of those ranch houses with plenty of rooms to spare and 2 floors all, so she could live on a bigger house like she used to say. Then one day she asked me if her parents and 2 of her sisters, 12 female and 14 female, could come live with us, that their living conditions are really bad, and I knew that, so I said yes. We had rooms to spare, and we weren't expecting a child, so why not? I thought, I know them, and even humble as they are, they're good people. Fast towards then, and I helped pay for a private school for her 2 sisters, plus some medical treatment her mother has going through. I must say the rest of their brothers try to pinch some money, but mostly have day-to-day jobs, and you know how the economy is a hellhole down here, so it never bothered me helping them since I could. Now comes the famous D-Day. We got invited to a birthday of one of her nephew and told her she should go first. Then after I'm out I'll go. Then I arrive 2 hours later. Then I ask one of her nephews, where is she? Then he points me at the restroom place the park has. So I walk there, and I turn the corner to see my fiancée hugging and kissing one of her family friend. She sees me, we both lock eyes. Of course, she panic. Tell me this is not what it looks like, right? And I bolt towards my car. Funny scene that me running out of the situation make the other kids follow me thinking I'm playing a game, but her family pick up fast something was happening as she start banging on my glass windows and screaming as I turn the car on and then drive off. I have no idea what happened after that. Just know I felt like poop and went to my parents' place and hide on one of their empty rooms. After a week I had to face her, of course, and return home to see a whole congregation. Basically all her family was there. Imagine 2 parents, 8 freaking siblings with kids included, and her all came together to try to see if I could forgive, if I could see past her betrayal. We kind of fight a little, but of course I was overwhelmed. Then I asked the question if the cheating was going for long. She didn't answer, so I just walk away to a bunch of people screaming at me to come back. Don't be a coward, try to see beyond this, you get the idea. Then 3 days later I asked her to talk alone, told a couple of mutual friends to help us, and we set a meeting. Then as I arrived first explained to them, then told then who he was, and all to which I learned from one of them that the guy she was with was a ex, from what period I really don't know, and I don't wish to know. So you get the idea that the moment I learn about that information, I drop the meeting, send her a message saying is cancelled, and that I would go pack my stuff. And so I did. 2 weeks later, after the whole fight, I was moving out the place back to my parents. We fought a lot and had to face each and single one of them trying to convince me to forgive their sister mistake, but I end up blocking them and putting my foot down, telling them is not their business. Then her friends pile up, even some of my friends, too, saying is just a mistake and blah blah. Then what hurt the most was both my parents saying that seeing me like that wasn't right, and perhaps I should forgive and fix our relationship. And yup, in this whole parade of people, nobody give a damn how I was doing, only our relationship, to which I end up cutting ties with most of them besides some of my best friends and my parents on a low contact deal. As I moved to a 1x1 shitty block apartment I could rent fast. Now, 2 months after the whole ordeal, I paid the last month, then cut ties with all payments. The house I was renting gone, the private school gone, her mother medical treatment and pills gone also. And, I must say, try to hold that much while being 2 teenagers, 2 retire folk and a housewife who barely finished nurse school. You get the idea. When the bill came to her, she lost it all and came running to my parents, to which she didn't found me, so she went to my work and came to talk. When I went out she grovel and cry that she didn't want this of us, and to give her another chance, if it's not for her mother. I said that I had no attachment more to her or her family and drive off. Now she has talk with most of the people on my circle again, and of course they say I shouldn't be this cruel, that I have the money to spare. Even again, my parents, why let them suffer after all this time, that I should have a little more compassion for them, to which I think who has compassion for me. So Reddit A, I'm the a-hole here for cutting the payments and possibly unaliving grandma because I stopped paying, or care that they go back to their shithole house because they can't pay the other one. Edit. First of all, I want to apologize to all of you for reading such a mess of a text. I wrote it on my phone, but that's no excuse. I should have put it on Word first or something. Second, I want to thank you all for the comments. I was really overwhelmed here around me, and I really needed someone else who could understand my point of view. Besides a couple of best friends, the majority was to forgive and move back, but now I think I get the message. I'll try to move on and block for my parents. I'll stay low contact since I do understand why they kinda side with her, but I don't want to hear what they have to say, and for my fiance I'll try to stay away as much. I know it would be hard being in this small town and all, but right now I feel like poop, and I don't want to know the whole story of why and when. Perhaps one day when I get the courage I'll humiliate myself and ask her. I thank you all very much for the comments again, and I hope you all can have a nice day. Update. Well, I never thought I would be back writing an update, but after a couple of private messages asking for it, and a couple of life-changing revelations, and some may or bad news, I think I'm ready to write this. So before I begin the update, I'll add some information I learned around a month and a half ago, about my ex. Basically, a friend of hers saw my frail appearance while I was working. I lost around 15 kilograms from this whole drama, and harassment. So she felt guilty about hiding so many secrets of my ex, and wrote to me on Instagram telling me to meet up. We met up in one of the plazas, and she told me that she was getting married soon. She felt guilty about what she hid about my ex. For starters, she explained when it all started. Like many guessed from the previous post, it was around the time I was doing the 4th year at university to my graduation. Since it was a heavy time for me, personally, I didn't come back home as much, so we kept it long distance for a time, and the stress made me not focus on other things, like social or interactions and such. During this period she was studying to become a nurse, but then she stopped studying. Her reasons? She didn't have the money for it, or so she told me. The actual reason was that she got pregnant by the guy, and hadn't baby unalive her. Her friend was there at the moment and told me that after that she started to hate the hospital, so she dropped out of college. Yet, she kept seeing this guy until I came back after I graduated. She then told me that he's a trucker, hence their escapades were few but still enough. In the years that I was with my ex, the reason, you guys guessed it, it was that he was better than me in bed. It wasn't love or attention, just intimacy. But later, during our time together, while also trying for a kid ourselves, she got pregnant a second time and she didn't know who was the father. Not wanting to risk the life she had at the time, she called that same friend to accompany her to the hospital, and had a second baby unalive her. For me, it was just something to do with her bladder, for what I can remember. Her friend kind of told me some more important revelations, but I was so shocked I couldn't listen anymore. Like more times they met or what excuses she used. That same day I went home and cried myself to sleep. Of course now you can ask what she was doing after we broke up. Well, she went to live with him, and since he goes out most of the time due to his job, she stays at the place he's renting. Almost every time he went out, she came to my home calling for me, asking for forgiveness, saying how bad she felt. At the time, I kind of felt like I was overreacting. But after learning such things about her past, I was seething for the next time she showed up. So, the same week I learned of her cruel past, she came to visit me. Before I knew it, I was lashing out against her, screaming and insulting her. It was loud enough that my throat hurt me for 3 days, and I decided that it was enough, so I went to the police. But when I wanted to press charges for a restraining order against her, the policeman at the time laughed at me, like I was saying a joke, and told me to man up. After that fight I spoke seriously to my parents, since our relationship was kinda rocky from them supporting my ex, but now they fully support me and kind of stopped that boomerish way of thinking. But I never saw my ex again after that time. After I knew, a whole month went by in silence while I tried to fix the bits and pieces of my life, thanks to friends and coworkers trying to cheer the gloomy guy. Now I can start the actual update, and before that, I must add a trigger warning for those that have problems with abuse or passing in general. Now, around 5 days ago, while working, I received a couple of calls from my mother, which I cut, then messaged her on my break. She then told me to check the Facebook link she sent me, and it was a video of the news of the town saying about an assault and unaliving between a man and a woman, the woman of course being my ex. And the man, you guessed it, her affair partner. After I closed the video, I unblocked and called her parents to find out if that was true. They couldn't answer me through their crying, but when I came out of work her older brother was waiting for me to tell me the news, and that he would love if I could go to her funeral, at least to forgive her. I obliged, but my feelings were completely empty for her. I arrived with my parents, and her whole family came to greet me, some telling me how much they missed me. Then, when I got in, I kinda felt like I wanted to see her one last time, perhaps shed a tear one last time, but they had to mourn her with the casket closed due to the damage done to her face. So the last time I saw her was her shocked crying face as I shouted her. I said my piece at the time, and later she was buried. After her burial, the brother, who was the friend of the cheating guy, came to talk to me. First he apologized because he also knew most of the cheating that was going around but decided to keep it quiet because of her parents' and sister's new comfortable life. Then he explained to me that while she was living with him, it wasn't all roses. He cheated on her during his travels and boasted about it to his friends, and verbally abused her, and physically once, but cut it after the older brother threatened him. He told me a neighbor of theirs called the police 3 times on them, and that she sometimes slept at her older brother's house. But since he's taking care now of his parents, the teenage sisters, and at the time his pregnant wife, the brother couldn't keep her for long, so she always returned to him until now, this last time. From what that same brother told me, it seems they fought the night before, and it got serious enough that he ended up unaliving her. The neighbor heard the screams and quickly called the police, but by the time they arrived it was too late, he ran away. So for now there's no justice for her. Now, my feelings? Well, I'm quite numb to be honest. Perhaps still not touching ground, but to be honest, this is not the end I wanted to post or the karma she should have gotten. I know it's not the usual update one can expect, but thank you for reading it and for the comments on the last post. I will continue to lurk as I always did and hope for the best. With that said, thank you for your time. Edit: the police finally caught the unaliver while trying to pass the border to the adjacent country. Our province borders with 2 other countries. So I hope her family can now find some justice and she can rest in peace now.